Hey, juniors, how you doing? Today is Wednesday, March the 30th, and it is hump day. I hope by now you are geared back up and you're really getting back into the swing of school. Like we said before, we don't have a ton of time left this semester. We are going to be pushing through with Fahrenheit for the next 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks. And then we're going to turn our attention to the last unit, which is nonfiction. But things are going to move very quickly. So we definitely want to make sure that we have a really good handle on things. We know what we're doing and we're doing our best work. We're not falling behind because we do want your grades to be reflective of your abilities. So we hope that by the end of today, you have had a chance to read the entire passage, the first passage from Fahrenheit 451, the opening of the book. Again, like I said before, it is an abridged version, so it's not the full version. But this gives us a first look at Montag, both direct and indirect characterizations. Today, we have a form for you to work on. And this just kind of, again, asks you some very specific things about Montag, what we see, what we know about him, okay? And then we're going to move over to irony. So question 1 through 4, some very direct, multiple choice questions. There are right or wrong answers on that. Question number 5 then asks you to look at irony. Now, there's 3 types of ironies, and I know we've talked about irony before, but just as a refresher, there's 3 types of irony. Irony is where we see one thing, but we get something else. We expect this, but we get something else. And that contrast is used to make some commentary on the topic, okay? It lets us see what the author thinks about this. The 3 types of irony that we generally see: verbal irony, situational irony, and dramatic irony. Verbal irony is where I say one thing, but I really mean something else. This is kind of like sarcasm. This is kind of like satire. This is kind of these connotative things that we say. For instance, if somebody is coming up to class and they fall up the stairs and you go, smooth move, you're not really giving them a compliment. You're not telling them that they're graceful. You're making fun of the fact that they flipped up the stairs, right? That they just tumbled and dropped all their stuff. So what you're doing then is you're saying one thing, but you really are saying something else. Situational irony is where I look at something and I expect this based on the situation, the scene, the setting, but I get something else. For instance, and the example I always use is a firehouse that burns down. Like, okay, that's a firehouse. Their job is to put out fires. Why did their place burn down, right? And so it just doesn't mesh with what we see. And then we have dramatic irony, and this is probably the most common form of irony that an author will use. You are very familiar with this, especially in sitcoms. Dramatic irony is where we know something the characters do not. So the character is acting on a piece of information, but we know that that's not the right information, or they're not the right perception of it. You think about a lot of sitcoms where these 2 characters are planning a surprise birthday party for a third character, right? And they're doing all these things, they're being kind of secretive and sneaking around, they're doing all these things. Well, this third character doesn't trust him now, right? Like, I thought we were friends. What's going on? Are you 2 dating now? Are you doing something behind my back? Or do you not like me anymore? And so this person is really kind of resenting these 2. But we as the reader know that these guys are doing something nice for him, right? That they're putting a surprise party together. So when this guy thinks something bad is going on, we know that something good is going on. That's dramatic irony. So question number 5 here then is, what kind of irony do we see in this passage? And what does that say about Montag? What do we learn about Montag based on those contrasts? This is a graded assignment because we do want to make sure that you have a good handle on how you're able to pull characterization through. Okay, so please make sure that you finished reading the text. Answer these 5 questions. The first 4 deal specifically with Montag, all of them with Montag. Number 5 deals with irony and what we learn about Montag through that. As you are going through this, continue to be writing those notes in your note sheet, because you will want those later on when we do the constructor response in a couple more weeks. Please be asking questions. Please be reaching out to Ms. McGuire if you need any help. This is a graded assignment, so we do expect everybody to be doing it. Good luck, everybody.